from our previous video, we spoke about commitment anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
we spoke about the fear of change, the fear of compatibility, the fear of divorce, and financial stress.
Mm-hmm.
These are the points that were listed in the previous video. If you are yet to watch or see the video, please you will do well to go back to check some of this. And the comments we've been able to get from the previous video is what we are going to also elaborate. So welcome, this is the second phase of this particular topic. If you are
Overcoming
tuning
your
in,
fears about marriage.
you are overcoming your fears about marriage.
Marriage.
So if you are tuning in for the first time, please, we love you, we thank you, and we appreciate the fact that you've been able to summon up courage to be able to check this. If you are yet to subscribe, please do well
To
to
subscribe.
subscribe and hit the notification bell to get other juicy content from the Paragon lovers.
You're welcome to our channel
You are
once again,
welcome
and
to
we are so elated to have you. My name is Blessing Mojisala Odunli,
Adebayo Oluwatobi
and
Odoniyi,
together we are the
Paragon
Paragon lovers,
lovers,
and we have a mandate
to
to
showcase
showcase God's
God
templates
with
for
in
marriages.
marriages.
So one thing we want you to do is want you to sit back,
Mhm.
relax, get your popcorn or anything you want to eat,
Or your
snack
juice or bottle of
on,
Coke.
and just cross your legs and do stay tuned to our
Yeah.
amazing content.
So what do we talk about? Faith, love, lifestyle, relationship, and marriage.
Yes,
Thank you.
those are the sectors God is helping us to share. We are sharing our journey with you,
Mm.
and we believe that there are many lessons
You will
from
pick
all
from.
that we've gone through
Mhm. Thank you so much. So sit back. Let's delve into it.
right away. Okay, so today, as continuing, we're just continuing from the last video. Today we'll be talking about some other fears,
Mm.
of which these fears are common. They are common amongst individuals that we've interacted with. They are
Mm.
common, they are trending on social media, and we'll just talk about them, what we think, and how it can and how you can overcome them as an individual.
Mm.
Do not forget that our standpoint is from the Christian perspective,
Very important.
being a Christian couple that
Mhm.
knows their God, and the Bible says that you will know your God and
Strong
you will be strong
and
and
you
do
will do exploit.
exploits. Yes, so that's the
Daniel
standpoint from
11:32.
yeah, amazing 32B. That's the standpoint we are coming from, and we're just going to be sharing with you. The first on our list today is the first on our list today is fear of fear of ending up like your parents.
Mm.
So many people have said, "Oh, but my that's if your parents' marriages are not what you envisage." Or
Mm.
we've had individuals tell us that, "Oh, my parents that sometimes my parents don't they don't model good marriage to my
Mm.
siblings, and we've already
Mhm.
said they are scared to get married because of what they've seen right from the onset. Or
Mhm.
imagine children or younger people growing up in a home where their dad will literally molest their mom,
Domestic violence.
different things, and you begin to wonder that how exactly
Will they be able to
how will
cope?
these children turn out to be? Would they
Mhm.
want to get married? Would they see marriage as a beautiful gift?
Mm.
So I'd just like you to touch on that.
Well, you said it basically. If you have a parent that will not model Christ, it is not out of place. If we have parents, there are some certain things that we cannot change. If, for example, if your parents are traditional worshippers
Mm-hmm.
or they are not the church, they are just church goers and not Christians or believers. And imagine if the child or children eventually picked up and located or knows Christ maybe during school hour and all that. So basically, the pattern to which the child knows, or the pattern to which the parents of such children will model to the children at home will be quite different from what the child believes. Now, this is from a standpoint of parents knowing fully well that some of our parents are not really they are not believers and all that. So it becomes a fear for such a child to that will not definitely and be like, okay, I don't think I want to end up like my parents and all of that. So how do we overcome such fear? Now it is not out of place to say that's a fear, like it's a major fear, and it could foster and it could hinder one's marriage or one's settlement and all of that. So I believe from my own point of view, how do you settle this is understanding, communication. Let me pick that. You communicate with your set partner how you want your parents or how you want your home to look like. If you are the man or you are the lady, please explain all of these things. Communication is important. It is germane and very, very key. Uh, Talk about everything. From our
Mm-hmm.
previous video, we've always been talking about it. Talk about everything and anything. So whatever is going on in your home, like your family, discuss with your partner and let your partner know that okay, these are the certain things of fear that you've been nursing, and you don't want such to occur or transpire in your own particular home. Another way you can also help or communicate this is ask questions even from your own
Mm-hmm.
partner.
Even
Let
from the relationship
yeah,
phase.
let's be aware, like ask questions from your partner. Okay, paint a scenario and hear your partner's point of view. That way you would even be able to pick what is even happening in or what happens in the partner's home. I mean maybe your partner's parent and all of that, and his own point of view. You know, some of these things, if as a man, of course, my father has always been a loving person to my mom. But imagine a person who grew up from a home where his own father or our own father beats up
Was
his,
very wicked.
yeah, very wicked or beat up his mom. Now, is such a child, even for the grace of God or some other factors or some other things that the child will learn out there, the child automatically psychology, the psychology of such child will be like, okay, I think it's a normal thing for a man to beat up his wife and all of that. So if the lady or the woman in question did not ask questions to know
Mm.
the man's or the guy's point of view, it might end up like such treat my continue in such so communication is key for me. I think I've been able to do justice to that. What's your own point of view?
Okay, so another thing I would like to say is that the individual should study the patterns in your family.
Mm,
Get to know that, like, come to be truthful to yourself, sit down, reflect, consider the happenings in your family, study the
mm.
patterns. It's just like you're becoming self-aware that okay, it is what it
Self
is, like this
awareness.
is how it is in my family, this is what has been happening, these are the causes. Get to know the root causes, and that way, without knowing the cause, you'll not be able to really overcome. But
Mm,
when you know the causes, you'll be able to overcome. God is going to grant you wisdom to say, oh, so for this particular trait, there's a tendency for you to also exhibit that trait, but
mm-hmm.
these are the measures you have to put in place. There are times when unconsciously we exhibit some
Some
of
of
the
these
traits
things.
and attributes of our parents. I'll not be like, but these are the same things that we were criticizing our parents for
Mm-hmm.
that they are playing out in our lives.
Mm,
It's just what it is about patterns. So there are some generational patterns that have to be broken consciously in the place of prayer.
yeah.
There are some that you have to be intentional about working. And like we've always emphasized in our previous points, that you have to both make sure that your
Mm,
marriage works. Like it's just something you have to keep telling yourselves that our marriage will work, and our marriage will not just work, it will be an example to
mm.
other people. And that's one thing that's helped us till date. We just keep telling ourselves that divorce can never be an option. Our
Definitely.
marriage will work,
By the
and
grace of God.
we will keep working, like we'll keep
Mm-hmm.
nurturing it. So
Mm-hmm.
anything you envy, maybe not envy, but anything you
You
admire in
like or
other people's
admire.
marriages, pick it and also implement it to your marriage. Nurture it. Anything you don't water doesn't grow. Anything you don't water withers. So bring it into your marriage, water it, keep trusting God to hold you and your partner's hands
Mm-hmm.
through all the phases of marriage, because there are seasons of marriage. There's the romantic phase, there's the phase where everything is just somehow and all.
Mm-hmm.
There are phases that requires more work than
Than
the
the
other.
other.
So you have to understand those phases, you have to understand times and seasons. So fear of ending up like your parents, it would be totally evaded by God's grace, by having the right mindset, by being
Mm.
in close relationship with God, by understanding the patterns that have led your parents to that situation. I remember
Beautiful.
that my grandfather, my mom used to tell us that my grandfather was very rich. In fact, at that time, he had a car, a white car. I think it was a Mercedes Benz at
Mm.
that time.
Donkey.
Like yes, donkey. So he was rich, and but he would rather prefer to use that money to call his friends to his house to buy drinks, hot drinks for them, like alcohol, like make them enjoy themselves. order
Mm.
his wives to cook food. Everybody will enjoy themselves. He'd rather use his money to do that
To
than
take
using
care
it
of
to
friends
take
and
care of his children, his family, and sponsoring his children to school. So
mm,
my mom, I remember she's the first child of our family, but she still had to go through a
that
moment
particular
of
mental.
hustling, and it was a lot of mental trauma.
Mm,
Because how would you try to understand that your father has money but is spending the money on outsiders than
rather than
even
taking care of
for
the
people, so that
immediate
people be
family.
saying that yes, 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 he's the one that did that, kudos to him and all, but he's neglecting his family. And at that point it made her lose interest in marriage. She was, in fact, she was not interested in any man at that time, till her mother had a conversation with her friend one time, and I had to sit her down to explain, and she had a change of mindset. Imagine if her mother did
Growing
not
up,
hear that, or imagine if she had just it had that mindset had gone far and had even,
mm,
gone beyond what she had imagined, she would not have been married today. And by God's grace, she has a beautiful marriage. But that's because she came to the realization
mm,
of the
mm,
causes, and then she also determined to have. And that point, she told me that she kept praying that her marriage is
will
going to be an
definitely work.
example to other people, and her marriage was going to work. And by God's grace, we thank God for the testimony He has given her today.
Mm,
So those, I believe that with those things, that fear of ending up like one's parents will be evaded
will be
totally.
video. Thank you so much. Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
So we move to point two.
Yes. Okay, so another fear of marriage, the first one we spoke about was ending up like one's
One's
parents.
parents.
Another fear of marriage is, should I say, losing one's independence? Losing
Mm,
one's independence. So, like while I was single, I take decisions on my own. I think we spoke about this. It's similar to one of the points we
we
raised in the
raised in the
previous
first.
video, but it's different because I have personal interests. I have personal hobbies. His Excellency has personal interests and personal hobbies. He loves watching memes. He loves watching football.
Do I love
I'm
watching
indifferent.
football?
Yes, but maybe you are not a football addict or fanatic or
Yeah.
or a strong lover, but you enjoy it. But me, I'm indifferent.
Of course, you're a lady.
If it is okay, if it is not, but there are some ladies that love it.
Mm.
Yes,
You have a
so
few, but they're scarce.
yes, so it could be a fear that would my husband love what I love doing? What if we have differences and that? And so, how do you think
It's
partners
actually a
can
fear.
strike a balance?
It's actually a fear. Now, how do you strike a balance? Of course, coming together does not negate the fact that you have your differences. Does not
Mm-hmm.
negate the fact that you have interests and things that you wish you want to pursue. Of course, this is coming out of you being able to discover purpose from my own point of view. Once
Mm,
you understand purpose, you know the purpose of God for your life, and your other partner to knows the purpose of God for our life or his life, it becomes it does not it becomes easier. It's no longer a fear. Why? Because your purpose are purpose in a way
it's
complements each
aligning.
other, then you'll be able to align into things that you'll be able to foster. Now if you enter into a relationship or you're about to settle down with your partner, then at that point, you should know your partner knows that this is your belief, this is what you do, these are the things that you get to do on daily basis. It could
Mm,
even be your interest now, it could be your hobbies, it could be in career wise and all of that. So she should be able to encourage you, and you on your own part, of course, you're going to that particular relationship to support and give all it takes to your partner. Now, this is I wouldn't know where I heard it from, but then I think I picked this somewhere that always look out for your partner's best interest. Do not
mm,
enter into a relationship looking for your own best interest.
do
Now,
not be
imagine
selfish.
if we enter into this, I'm looking out to ensure that interest, whatever she wants to do, um is well, like it's settled, she doesn't have problem with it, and vice versa. If she enters into the relationship and she wants my own best interest at heart,
Mhm.
then that way we complement each other,
Each
not me
other
taking my own interest
over
over
mine
us and not
or
she
mine over
over
his.
mine. So that is just the best. I believe that way you'll be able to strike a balance with this fear of independence and all of that. The bottom line is ensure that you marry someone you know that okay, this is the person that understands you and you understand the person. The person is your friend. That way it does not become a fear to me.
Amazing. I feel like you've just even given us a whole lecture like you usually do on this on this topic. So I would like to add that in in um in adding or in my own little sense to what His Excellency had said, I would like to add that you don't marriage doesn't allow you to lose yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because so many people say to me that I feel like I might lose myself when I get married. What if I lose myself when I get married? What's going to happen to me? What's going to be happen to my dreams? What's going to happen to my ambitions?
Mm-hmm.
What if marriage serves as a distraction? That's another fear, because people feel like marriage could be a distraction. It's still relating to losing yourself. I
Self-independence.
tell people that ever since I got married, and thank God, so many people have testified to this. Ever since I got married, purpose became sweeter, because, and all to the glory of God, because we understood that it is both of us against the world. We
Mm-hmm.
are a team,
And
and
the
it is our
same boat.
team against the world, and we do things together, we stand together. So it has helped it. There are some of my interests that it's not like it really is really involved in, but
Mm.
sometimes it just has to show attention. Sometimes it just has to show that, oh, what are you doing? How would you
Give
want
you
me to come
support
in? What
and
would
all
I,
that.
what would you have me do? And all, it shows that, oh, my partner is supportive and all. But what if I'm doing all of those things and he doesn't even care, he just ignores me?
Mm.
And then I begin to have problems like, what kind of person did I marry? Why is he not supportive and all? That's a
Mm.
different ballgame. But you should have, just know that you're going to have a partner that's going to support you,
Mm.
that's going to buy into what you do. And
Mm.
if you are that person that you are not really, you don't really support other people, I think you should start to learn it even now.
Mm.
Why,
Before you enter
even before
into
you enter into a relationship or even marital, even marriage, start to learn it from now. Whatever your friend does, you might not really like it, you might not really catch your, like, it might not really be your
your
strong interest,
personality.
but just support. Just that message will do. Oh, I see what you're doing, and
Mm.
I'm happy. Well done. It could just be a text message. Just show that you're supportive, like that you're a
Mm.
supportive person. It applies to relationship as well.
Mm.
And there are times when he tells me that, oh, you know that man, you lost this particular game. I'm like, sorry. Or sometimes I'll joke about it that sometimes I'll even make jest of the club and all that. How would they beat Man U 7-0?
Why do you have to go back to this point?
No,
This is
but
not.
now why would they beat Man U seven
Now,
zero?
have you asked know the club I'm
Yeah,
supporting?
they have to know the club they are supporting now, because it's a wonderful club.
Oh, why do you
So
have to refer to that particular
it's
look?
just to explain my point, just to make it solid. So it shows that
Wow.
at least, oh, I know the club is supporting, and I tell people that whatever club my husband is supporting, that's the club I support.
Correct.
Although while I was much younger, people would say, I will ask my parents, what clubs are they supporting? They'll say Jesus Club. Okay, I think my mom used to support Chelsea at some point, and I think at some point she started supporting Barcelona. I can't remember, because I know she
Because of
bought Drogba's t-shirts for us. I can't. It was a lot, sha, but daddy was always saying Jesus Club. Anyway, sha, that's by the side. Just show
Jesus
interest
Club.
in what you're supporting,
Mm.
in
Your
sorry, in what your
partners.
partner is supporting, and show that you're interested. That's how love springs up from
Mm.
that.
So basically, that's it. So let's just move to the next point.
Okay, so the next fear that people have is fear of parenting,
Hmm. Fear of
fear of
parenting.
having babies around, even when they themselves they still want to be babied.
Wow. It is right.
That's another fear of wanting to of marriage,
Hmm.
of fear in marriage, because
Fear of
they're like,
parenting.
am I really ready to start giving birth to children? Let me not get married yet, because I know if we get married like that,
The
my
next
wife
thing
might
is
just, the next thing is just spam, start giving birth to
get the
children,
children,
and
and at that point in time, your goals, your purpose, your
my
career,
shift.
yeah,
For
might get
example,
distracted.
any lady that is pregnant, some organizations don't employ,
Mm.
especially when a lady is pregnant, and there are different things involved.
Mm.
So it's a major fear. Even the married people, they have that fear of not wanting to get pregnant. How much more single
When
people
that
that
is
are not
about
ready
to
to have children?
have children. Wow.
So how can they go about the fear? Did we have that fear?
Do we have the fear? No.
Okay.
All right. So from we've been able to talk about us right from the earlier stage, because presently we know that God is still going to bless us with our own
Yes,
children,
by
but
God's
then our
grace.
children are still coming. But presently, we know their names already.
Mm-hmm.
We know their gender. We've prayed it over. We've spoken about it. We've received that. We even have scripture to back it up, and then they have their names already. So these are the things that we have done. So we were prepared for it. We know that God is definitely going to orchestrate it and do it at its own
His
time.
own time,
However, it's not a fear in in
any
any
form.
form. All right. So from our own point of view, or from my own point of view, I believe it's actually these are the fears that people actually know. Don't they don't care, they are not ready for it. So the most important, how do you overcome this is discuss it with your partner.
Mm.
Be be sure of whatever you want. How do you want to parent, or how do you want to guide, or how do you intend to guide the children that God is going to give into your care? Alright, so these are the things that you might need to really iron out before you eventually while you are in relationship and all of that. Uh there are several lessons you can pick, especially if you're Christians, of course, which is our template.
The
There are
Bible,
lessons from the Bible that you can model uh, your marriage after, especially in terms of parenting,
parenting.
which is
Mm.
very very important. You go to the Bible and pick out characters in the Bible and learn about it, especially learn from people's mistakes and learn how to get it better during your own case. If it's a girl child, a boy child, and some of these environmental factors that comes with having a girl child, and not some of all these beliefs, especially in our own circle of influence, especially in Nigeria and all of that. So all these things should be discussed as parents or as while you're in a relationship, so your partner gets to know
Mm-hmm.
you on your own part too. You are aware of it. How many children do you intend to give birth to? Now it is not out of place if you just enter into a relationship, into a marriage, and before you know it, the first day you are not prepared, and
You
you just
already
start
give birth.
giving birth and all of that. Now it's not
To be a
is a
catastrophe.
good thing to immediately 9 months after, which are the which is usually the prayers of our parents, even some of us too. That okay, after 9 months we want to hear the cry of the baby and the cry of the mother and all of that. But be intentional about it. Get to know your wife,
You
enjoy
not to plan.
your planet. That's
Plan,
just the word.
please.
Please plan it such that when children comes, you are not
You're
distracted, you
not
are
caught
not
unawares.
that way parenting becomes easier because you have plans already. I think
Mm.
that's from my own point of view.
Okay, I also wanted to add that parenting could be a fear, but it should not be a fear because I don't think we've even said this since we started this series that fear means false evidence appearing
Appearing
real.
real.
So it's just a false evidence that is appearing real. Parenting is beautiful, it is a gift from God,
Mm,
and it is one of the see, it is one of God's greatest decisions that
mm,
He has placed in our hands
mm,
to be able to mold,
mm,
nurture, and train lives in form of our seeds and our children. So one thing that could serve as a fear is, especially if you are not really a person that has been trained, has been built, has been made up, you are wondering that, oh, me myself, I'm still like this, I'm still struggling in so many areas. What exactly, how do I want to train this child?
mm,
Or what exactly do I want to give to this child? So this is just encouraging you that now is the time, especially when you're still single. Now is the time to plan. Now is the time to prepare. Now is the time to give it your
radio.
best. Read books, attend conferences, learn from other people that are in the journey, and just you ensure that if you're in a relationship, ensure that there is an open communication with your partner where you both can discuss about these things. You can talk about how, your parenting styles. Okay, so from my attributes, kind of my husband already knows how my parenting style will be.
Mm,
From his attributes, in I know how his parenting style will be, and I know that we're just going to complement each other. Talk about
definitely.
what you want your children to learn. It's not like you're being rigid with it, but there are certain
Mm-hmm.
expectations, there are certain great things that you want your seeds to do, and there are some certain things that God has told you that, oh, your
Mm,
children are going to do this
this
and
and do
do
that.
that. So receiving instructions from God is vital. It just makes it easier for you, it makes every form of fear
Parenting becomes
evade,
sweet.
because you know that God is still holding your hand through the face of parenting. And remember that you cannot give what
What
you
you do
don't
not have.
have. So do well to ensure that you are being grounded, you are rooted and grounded in
Mm.
the knowledge of God's word. You know, you seek knowledge from people that are in tune with God, because we have to be careful with seeking knowledge these days. There are
Of
some
course,
people out
definitely.
there that are just, like, will just come and tell you, I
On
don't
your
want to say
one,
bala blue.
one
Well,
prove your relationship or your marriage or your home.
yeah, so you have to be very, very careful with where you seek
Mm-hmm.
knowledge from.
Mm.
That's what I wanted to add. And it's okay to get married and not want children immediately. It's very, very okay. You know, this way our society has been confined is immediately after 9 months, we want your children to start rolling. But my dear, our dear friends, we are telling you this day that it is okay to get married and not have children immediately, and there are ways around it. So, and it has its advantages, right? It enables you, even though you're not ready, it enables you to plan. It enables you to understand your partner. It enables you to have time together
Mm.
before children start
To
coming.
set in.
Yeah, so
It's very important.
there should be just understand the phases in which both of you are in. It
Plan
makes
for
it
your
easier.
children, plan it out.
Yes,
You
plan.
will
Please
not
do
want to
well to
give birth to
plan.
children that at the end of the day you won't be able to cater for, you won't be able to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
So presently we have spoken about how our girl child, our male child, how they are
Would.
going to, of course, what and
Yeah.
what they are going to do. And these are the things that we have received. So measures should be put in place,
Mm-hmm.
planning should be put in place, and trust the Holy Spirit will
To
help you
lead
settle.
you
Of course, we are not saying it's not good to give birth early.
immediately. We're
Of
not
course,
saying
it's
that,
important if that is your plan. Ensure that you carry it out.
but
Let it not be
already
that
have plans during your
mhm,
relationship and
that immediately these are the things you are going to do. These are the
yeah, yeah.
so it won't be a problem.
and
Thank you
and
so much.
agreement with your
That is
partner, be on the same page with your partner. It's not like you want children immediately, your partner still wants
no.
to rest.
They should be able to
Talk about
communicate it.
it, we're on the same page, we
Mhm.
know what we want, and at the right time we know it will come. So be on the same page with your partner is very, 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 very
Very
important.
important.
Another fear is fear of falling out of love and fear of boredom.
Mm. Fear of falling out of love and boredom,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that you
Like,
are going
so
to
I'm going to
spend a lifetime
eternity
eternity
with you.
together.
Am I not going
So
to be bored? I'll be seeing only your face, only your face, only your face.
and you can imagine it can be boring actually.
Can
It can be boring, but then do not
this
allow
it
it.
can be boring?
Like sorry, it can be a fear, that's what I mean.
Okay.
It can actually be, it can be a fear, but then do not allow that as a fear. Of course, we are just a couple of how many months
We'll
now
almost be a year in marriage.
in our own marriage. Then it's important that you nurture it. It's very, very important. It's not out of place to say that if you get to a time whereby you are tired, you want something else, engage in different activities, bring different things up to spice up your marriage as a man and as a woman.
Do
It
things
takes joint
together.
effort, yeah, do things together such that you are not limited, you are not following a certain routine over and over. It's actually it could be boring when you do the same thing over and over and
Just
over.
routine. You're getting
You're
tired.
getting worn out and all that. So ensure that you have stuff to spice up your marriage. Uh, and it's always important you don't enter into a relationship based on or enter into marriage based on beauty. You get to a point whereby the beauty will eventually fade out.
Or based on
Uh,
wanting to have sex.
or of course, if you get to a point whereby you are tired, you
Is
don't even need
when their responsibilities have you never
of
remember that
course. So
you both
let
have had
God be.
sex.
I think that's my own point.
Okay, so I would like to add that regarding that fear of falling out of love,
Hmm.
there is a tendency for human beings to want to try out different things. That's how
Hmm.
human beings are created. Like I'm
We are
speaking
wired
naturally speaking,
not
but as God-centered beings, as beings that we have been as people or children of God that we've been regenerated, we know that God has promised us the gift of marriage and that God wants us to stick to one partner. So it is
hmm.
the responsibility now lies on us. The onus lies on us to know how to make it interesting, to know how to spice up our marriage, to know what our partner enjoys. And let me tell you, marriage will get boring if you both, like you said, you keep doing the same thing over and over. You're not going out, you're just
You're
in
not
your
learning,
house,
you're
you're
not
not
seeing
learning,
what
you're not going
the
out for conferences together, you're not interacting with other people, you're just on your own. You're just there. There's a tendency for it to be boring, and there's a tendency for you not to feel yourselves again. There is that
hmm.
tendency, and there are phases in marriage, and there is a phase where when if you're not careful, that phase, that boredom or not feeling
I
each other
remember
will
during
be
our counseling
predominant.
time
Mm.
when our counselor, your mom told us that okay, at this stage, I think she used the
Romantic,
word a romantic stage.
yes,
Like before you know it, anything
and
you
there's
want.
realistic stage.
So we have the romantic stage, the realistic
That's like even
stage.
first year of marriage already.
And
No reality
afterwards, you
dawns on
reality dawns on
the
you, and you get
couple.
to know that okay, this is what it is, and these are the things that we need to do. These are the things we just have to put in place. Of course, that first phase of marriage, the romantic stage, I love you, you are the butterfly, you're my cockroach, you are the this one, you
Butterfly
are
my cockroach.
whatever it is, you are the you are the cockroach in my combo. You are all in all. Like at that point, you get not to see the faults in your
All
partner
the flaws.
or the flaws in your
But
partner,
when you now get
but
married and you now
when
start living together, you
you
might
get
start
to
seeing
see
some
stuff
things.
and all that, so it's important that uh, you know this before you enter into a marriage. When you enter into a relationship, know that okay, after a certain period of time, it gets it could be that yourself you want another thing. You just want. Imagine people will even. I've heard people telling you that eating rice over every day, every day, every day. I think I want to
I
try.
want to try out beans
I want to try this. I
or
want to
rice and
try
beans.
coconut rice. I want to try this. So it becomes another thing. When you enter into a relationship or into marriage, enter into it with that mindset that that is what you have till
So you just
eternity.
have to, you just need to know how to keep repackaging what you have,
You want to eat
how
rice, you don't eat
to
white rice alone. There are
like
times
just
whereby
jollof rice.
coconut
You know,
rice
you put
be
fruits, maybe
around it.
carrot
So
around
this,
some. You need
yeah,
to spice up your marriage, oh.
spice up your marriage
Because
that
that
way.
marriage that you are seeing that is going out the other side is somebody that is working for it.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you have to know that
A joint effort.
marriage is work. You both have to be intentional. It's not, I don't want
Mm.
to use hard work because it now feels like I'm a
It's
Russian man. Oh, but it requires, let's say it as it is. It requires a level of intentionality,
sacrifice.
requires sacrifice, it requires putting in the work. Because if you don't put in the
Being
work,
intentional,
you will not really see what you want.
definitely.
You will
So
not see what you want.
I believe we'll be able to establish the point.
And I feel like there's still some things that we've not touched on in that falling out of love. That
Mm.
falling out of love, another thing that might make you want to get attracted to another person is maybe dressing. Maybe you feel like your partner is not eating it enough, and there's just this guy that is very cool around you. He knows how
Mm-hmm.
to dress. His shoes are always on point and all. See, let me tell you, by the time you remove all those things that the person is wearing or the person removes it and you see the framework, you know that your what you have is even better. So let
Than
me tell you what you should do. Know how to package
package
your
your husband,
husband, package what
package your
you have,
partner.
package your
Why? How come
partner,
you sell it together?
brand your partner.
Another thing that you should also do not be the lady that before while in a relationship the guy is always there. He likes the way you look. He likes like you package yourself where you dress nice.
But at home
But when you now eventually
or
get
when you get
married,
married,
you are now the type that you are always on rapper or
anything goes.
anything goes and all that. Even as a guy to ensure that you look not just interesting, but whatever you feel you can do to ensure that
Your
um,
partner is still attracted to
is
you.
attracted to you, even if while you grow in the age, but then be consciously work on your appearance, which is just the least, but then God is still the major factor. However, your container is still important. The container to serve a food. Imagine you going to a restaurant and the plate
They
given
give you a
to
very
serve food,
dirty plate.
you will definitely not eat it. So your marriage as well, you should spice it up at every point in time. Ensure you look good, brand yourself. These are the things that you've seen outside and you intend that your wife look that way or your partner look that
If
way.
there's a
Look
particular
for a way to
hairstyle, if there's
brand
a
it
particular clothes you want your partner to wear,
beautiful.
get it for her. Just anything you're seeing outside that you admire. There's no crime in implementing it and
Mhm.
even doing better
But
for
then
your
strike
partner.
balance if it's not within your budget. You know there are other things that you see out there, especially social
That you
media.
admire, but you're not
That
within your budget.
social media a lot. They lie social media like they
Not
lie a
everything you see
lot.
on social media is
It's as
true.
actually true. So there are times you see some things and you like, I want this for my partner, I want this for my partner. It's not usually like that.
Not
So
realistic.
basically, so don't um
Don't go overboard. Don't
overboard, don't
overdo.
overdo whatever you
Yoruba
think
will
it
say
is.
shebi otimo.
Yeah,
Like
be comfortable with how God has placed you, but then go the extra, move, get better, and um, brand your partner. That's just the word.
amazing, amazing. So the final fear, I feel like we've even written a whole book on overcoming your fears about marriage.
We've
But
not talked about okay the
the
fear
final, the final fear is the fear of in-laws.
of in-laws. Yeah.
the fear of in-laws. So I've heard stories where ladies, I don't know why it's always ladies anyway, but ladies will be praying that their mother-in-laws
You
should die,
die and all those things.
so that they will enjoy their husband,
Hmm.
so that nobody will share their
Of course, you
husband's
must
money
have
with
heard
them.
you would definitely become an in-law to someone.
Someone
Your
someday.
children will
So
get married. So,
and they pray that prayer, like they prayed the prayer
hmm
point out of
out
fear.
of fear because of different stories. We watch Yoruba movie a whole lot in this part
Nollywood
of the country, and it has shaped a whole lot of things
mindset,
about how
mm,
we do
to
things.
relate to our in-laws
Of
and all.
course, please, first thing, how do you overcome this? It is not out of place, like you said, to no fear. My in-law, how is it going to be like? Would my partner's parents like me? Will I be able to cope with all of these things? Of course, it's also not out of place, especially uh, for the females, for our women. There's this strong bond between a mother and a child. Even if the child is way dirty and all that, there's still that bond that the mother has for the child, especially the firstborn. And before you know it, it could be a major issue in a marriage that the partner will have to deal with and all of that. Please, as a parent, always know that there are limitations. The Bible says, "For this reason shall a man leave
Leave
his father's house and
and
cleave."
cleave.
All right, so yeah, to
There's
our
a living and
parents,
there's a
there's a
cleaving.
living and there's a cleaving. However, it is also important that as partner, take your partner's parents, like as a man, I should take my wife's
As my
parents
parents.
as my parents. Never for once have I seen them as an in-law. I call our mom and our dad my parents, my mom and dad. She
Mm-hmm.
as well on our own part does the same. And how do you overcome some of these things? Look out for the best interest of your partner's parent as well.
Mm-hmm.
Be the one that will suggest everything, like stuff that want us to do for mom or for dad, and she as well should suggest stuff that we want to be done to your own parents. Let it be that, of course, the fact that you care for your parents and all those things, let it be that there's a mutual agreement and there's a balance. If you give to your parents, ensure that whatever you give to them is like is
Similar
equal. Is you don't care for one
over
than
the
over
other.
the other. Ensure
Mm-hmm.
that these are the areas you use to balance and strike a balance rather
Mm.
in all of these things. That way it becomes um, very simple. Another thing I'm going to say, pardon me, you're going to talk now. Another thing I'm going to say is before you enter into a relationship, know that as you are entering into a
You're not
relationship,
just marrying the
you are not
husband
just marrying
or
the
the man,
man or the woman
you're
alone,
marrying him and his
you are
family.
marrying him or her and
Mm-hmm.
her entire family.
Mm-hmm.
So ensure, be intentional about knowing the parents, especially the nuclear family, and do everything possible to gain their love. The same way you will like that your wife love you or your husband love you. Let it be that you want your wife's parent or your partner's parent to have that
To love
same love
you too.
for you. So it becomes easier. Then the fear will be out of place.
Mm. And one thing, thank you. Like, I feel like that was very, very profound and insightful. One thing I would like to add is relationship is built over time, and
Mhm.
relationship with your in-laws, just as the same way you invest in the relationship with your partner, you should also be willing to invest in the relationship with your in-laws.
Partners.
And for me, I don't call them in-laws. I don't think there's a time I've ever said, oh, that's my mother-in-law, that's my father-in-law. I say, oh, that's mom,
Mm.
that's dad. At most, if you want to differentiate between, because when we say mom, mom,
At
dad,
times, you know,
at times I'll say, like, okay, is it mommy Oduni or daddy Oduni? That's like the
how we,
difference.
yes.
That's how we differentiate and all. I don't, even when I
Of
talk
course,
to
yes.
people,
Yeah.
even when I talk to people, I don't say, oh, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. At most, if I have to say mother, I say my mom-in-law or my father-in-law. But I can even count the number of times I've said that. In fact, if I talk to them now right on the phone, you think I'm talking to my mom, you think I'm talking to my dad. So, and that's one thing we had to learn from the initial stages of our
Mhm.
marriage, because it's very, very important. It makes it easier. It makes it easier for both of you, even as partners, to be able to like relate, just knowing that, oh, my family is your family and your family is my
It's my
family. And
family.
I feel like our parents are even helpful in that area, because
Mm.
my mom does, like, she does call, like
Yeah.
like
Our
my,
mom calls me mom.
yes, yes.
Mm.
She'll rather call my husband than call me anytime she knows that we're together, such that it's not like she's calling me more than she's calling him. And from there, I'll get to talk to her. And that's how, these are little, little things that
Yeah, we
just
can
helps,
help. Yeah,
to
to overcome
strike a
some of these
balance,
things.
because there are natural tendencies for you to still want to say, ah, Omotiwa and Lele, you're
Mm.
like,
Mm.
Yoruba will say, Tenini,
Mm.
T Enini, no mama, like, your, what is your own
Mm-hmm.
is yours. But
Mm-hmm.
that should not be brought into marriage,
Mm.
because if you start do using that principle in
It
marriage, it
become
becomes a big, and then you tend to do more harm than good for the couple. So this is one thing that's helped us strike a balance, and it should not be a fear for you.
at all.
See, if God has ordained it, if God has given you the best, He would grant you wisdom to be able to handle it,
Yeah.
and whatever it is, irrespective of their excesses, He will be able to help you to curb it.
Mm.
And with his guidance, you know how to relate with them, you know what to do part time and per season, you know what not to do. So that's one thing. Just trusting in God and relying on him solely is one way to solve that,
Mm-hmm.
to make that fear get erased
Yeah. So that's important. Just forget. Do not forget that you become an in-law to
someday.
someday to your parents or some your children. Um, Partner or some way. So ensure that whatever you do, whatever you sow, you definitely reap.
Mm-hmm.
So be
Be kind.
intentional about all that you do. Out of all the points that has been listed, please pick out the one that resonates with you more. Drop your comments, share. You can share stories as regards it. You can ask your questions. You can always reach out to us to always if you have some questions or some things that you feel we want us to
Answer, provide answers
answer,
to
you can easily reach out to our DMs on Instagram at the Paragon Lovers.
lovers.
All right,
Yeah.
so very important. We love you. If you've watched to this certain point, then you are
You're
just
the
the,
real
like my
MVP.
wife will
Thumbs
always
up for
say.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
If you are
you
yet to
so
subscribe,
much.
please subscribe,
Subscribe.
like, share, comment. We love you.
We
Like
celebrate
with the whole of
you.
our hearts, we love
We
you
love
and we
you. We are
celebrate
praying
you.
for you. See, we are
Yes.
praying for all our tribe members, and
Mm-hmm.
especially those of you that are trusting God for a gift like
Like
this,
this.
that God is going to give you the best, and God
Amen.
will surprise you extravagantly in
Amen.
Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you.
And for those of you that have shown us so much love, we have some people coming to our DMs. Oh, that video blessed me, this and this. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. We do not take it for
Thank
granted.
you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
loving us. We love
Thank you.
you. We love you. We
Thank you.
celebrate you.
Thank
May
you.
God
We
bless
love you.
you.
Thank you. All I can say is thank you. God bless you. We love you.
See
See
you in
you
the next
again in the
video.
next video.
We are the Paragon lovers.
Diamond.